Hi everybody, this is Chase Gerber. Last night Todd hit a buzzer beater at Meadowbrook to beat TCC in the district semifinal, and I know there was some controversy regarding what happened with the clock, so I'm just taking a closer look at it if we can. So we're gonna start with Teeter's drive. A lot of fans are saying there should have been less time, there should have been more time, but if we look at the clock up here, it looks like there's 6.1 seconds remaining on the clock. So now if we look at our time code down here by where my mouse is, if we're gonna go slow-mo to see just how much time elapsed. Now a team can call timeout as soon as the ball is through the net. So the ball goes through about right there, and that is just over 4 seconds. That's 4 seconds and 3 frames, in 3 frames, excuse me. So that is about 4 seconds. So the refs put 2.2 on the clock. If we're going by this, there should have been about 2.1 on the clock. I mean, it's a tenth of a second. That's about as good as the refs can get just by the naked eye. They got really close on that. So there can't be too much complaining that way. Now, if we look at the very first pass that was thrown by Jordan Yoder, way down the court, if we can go all the way back here, if you can see, it looks right up here, the ball, this is right where it got tipped. If we can go back a little bit, if we can look right here, there's his arm cocked back, he's throwing it, it looks like it gets tipped right about there, okay? So that's when the ball got tipped. So if we look at the time code, it's 0-0 right now, and the ball, that's exactly when it got tipped. If we keep moving it, the ball hits about right there. It's very hard to tell where exactly it hit. What I was told is that when the ball was tipped, the first place it hit when it hit the ground was out of bounds. That is what I'm told. I didn't see it clearly. I do not know if that is true or not, but that is what appears to be ruled by the refs here, is that the ball hits out of bounds. It's about right there, about the 1 second and 11 frames. That's about 1.3 seconds. So if we take the 1.3 off the 2.2 that the refs put back on the clock after the timeout, then that would leave about 0.9 seconds left. Now, before we get into Todd's shot, I know there were a few people that were saying that the ball was tipped before Todd caught it. So if we can look at Brennan's throw right here, we have number 25 for TCC is jumping to try and swat it down. And you go, Brendan, he's back, he throws it. It doesn't appear that he tips it. It is very hard to tell, but it doesn't look like the trajectory of the ball is affected in any way by him tipping it. As we keep going, it looks like, I think it's number 13 right here, may get a fingertip on it, but almost immediately after, Todd gets possession of it. So it comes down to less than milliseconds really on whether it was actually tipped or not, which needless to say is very tough for a ref to be able to distort, and a timekeeper when to start the clock. As far as Todd's shot goes, right here the time code is 0-0. That is right when he is catching the ball. If we go all the way, there's the shot. It looks right in between there at about 29 frames. For those that don't know, 30 frames is a second. 1 frame is a 30th of a second. So at 29 frames, the ball appears Like, it could be out of his hands. It's hard to tell, but at 1 second, it is definitely out of his hands. So what we can really assume is that he got it off just under 1 second. It probably would have been technically about 0.98 seconds with the actual time that it took for him to get the shot off. So if we're speaking in terms of that, if they put the 0.9 seconds on the clock, that would have been, if we're going by instant replay, it would be very hard to distort by the naked eye if he got the shot off or not. Because, we're not even talking about tenths of a second. We're talking about less than tenths of a second and hundredths of a second. So it's very hard to distort whether he got the shot off or not. So that's a closer look at Todd's three-point shot concerning the clock that beat TCC. This video was taken by Holmes County Ticket. It was posted late last night. So that is a closer look. It is not. It really comes down to milliseconds, and the refs being able to see that, which, refs aren't perfect, and given the circumstances they did a very good job at maintaining how much time was on the clock. So that is a closer look at Todd Ropp's shot.